Good morning. Today we're going to take a look at the vendor portal that you can set up in Omnidek. I did this in the course of about a day, building the forms and setting the portal up. It's very quick. It's no code. I didn't have to write any code specifically. However, we can apply some code to this and do some things beyond what I'm going to show you today. This is what the vendor portal looks like. As folks log in and log out, it's pretty straightforward. They're going to come in here and this is what they're going to be challenged with, and you can invite them into the portal so that basically they come in and set themselves up. You can control what they see inside the portal, so they can come in and look at their insights and see what they've submitted, what the status of their invoices are. They can go to their inbox, and if there's any forms that have been completed or anything, any collaboration that is required on that particular invoice, they can do so. You can see right away that every form has a corresponding chat functionality with it, so that as the vendors submit their invoices into the portal, they basically put in a little bit of information, and then from there they attach their invoice, and when they submit it, it goes on a route. And I'll kind of clarify that as we go down the road here a little bit further. But basically, this is what the dashboard looks like. When they log into the system, they're going to come over here. It's a real quick, simple ad. They're going to hit their vendor name and pull it. So this will only show them their vendor, so it's not going to show them any other vendor. They'll put in the date, of course, and all this is, they could do this on an iPad if they wanted to. What is your invoice number? What is our purchase order number if there is one? So, they might be P789 or whatever. And let's say I got a $1,500 invoice here, and I'm submitting the invoice on this particular job. And these are the jobs that I work. So I'm going to come in here and say Johnson Homes. Now, the last piece of the puzzle is just basically coming in and dropping the invoice into here. And that's all they have to do. The rest of this information is done behind the scenes and done as the routing gets done with the invoice. So there, I'm going to go ahead and submit this. And now what's going to happen, I'm going to turn around and log out. I'm going to get an email notification that an invoice has been submitted. I can actually turn that off, and I actually do have that turned off because I don't want to get dinged every time an invoice comes in. So I'm going to log in as somebody inside the organization. This could be the project manager. One of the cool things about the solution is that you can come in here based on particular invoices and build route rules. So that in the route rules, you can have conditional routing. Like in this case, since I have this as a demonstration, I have it just routing to me if it's coming from them. But basically, I can assign jobs and then come over here and do entities and things like that. And you'll see how that works as we go down the road. But basically, I have a visual route functionality here. And in this particular case, I have it where what's going to happen is that invoice automatically routed to me, who's going to have to approve this and code it. So I'm going to come in here. This is my dashboard. I can see what they put in here. Now, if you notice, there's other information on here that the user did not see. They didn't see the distribution. They never will see the distribution. So this is all for internal use. And down here, I can look at this, see the invoice, basically come in here and preview that invoice. If I have two different monitors, I can drop it on the other monitor. And then I can come down here and do my distribution, and all that information is basically tied to the job here. So I'm going to go ahead and fully distribute. Well, let me just say I'm going to put 1,000 on this particular code, and then I'm going to come back here and I'm going to put up the balance here on this particular code. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to put in 500, and if you notice, I'm fully distributed. At this point, I can drop my signature on this particular invoice, and then I come up here and I can approve. Now, I have options here. I can come over here and put it on hold if I want to. I could actually reject this. Now, what's unique about this is that through the Insight program, the accounting department can have insights, the vendor has insights, we have insights as the project managers. So we can always see what the status of this invoice is. So if that vendor happens to call or somebody questions that invoice, I have complete control over that. I have some different views here. I can look at this in a grid format, but for the most part, basically this is the invoice. I've already approved it, and I'm going to come over here and hit approve, and I can go ahead and expedite it if it had multiple routes. If I needed to get this paid, I can put in notes. This looks good, and then all of these notes and all this information is always stored with that particular invoice. And now I've processed this through the end. Now, what happens at this point in time, because Omnidek is integrated fully with your ERP system, we can either pass this to your accounts payable system or directly, or we can pass this if you're using an AP system for routing and things like that. You don't really need it anymore, but basically that's what you have here. So you can pass it into here because we integrate with everything, and we're all integrated here. That all every time if you need a new cost code, you add the cost code, it'll be here in the system, so you don't have to do any double entry here. It's all from the vendor all the way through. And this allows you to do that. Now, the other idea behind this is that, at any given time, basically, if I come back to my dashboard, of course, I have insights. So I can come over here. This is just a sample of the insight report that I have built. This is a view. Since I am the person who actually looks at it, you can see this Fred's has not been approved yet, but all of these have. And if I needed to go see the full detail, I could bring the full detail down here. I can organize it by invoice number, and I can see the distribution and so on and so forth. I can also drill down or make a copy of it and get back to the original invoice, so I can see what it actually looks like. So these are some of the functionalities that are built into Omnidek that you don't have to do any code work with. Those are automatically there. And what's really unique is that with our form designer, you can build the form just about any way that you want to, in whatever field you think you may want to have on that. Just another quick preview. I'm going to go back to my login as a vendor and show you this, just because some of you guys out there might be doing subcontract pay applications. And if that were the case, if you notice here, this happens to be a subcontractor form. And so what I did is I built the form where basically, this is the vendor, this is the, the job. I can put in my draw items here. And I actually have changed this up a little bit as I've gone down the process line. But down here, when I select the draw items, I can pick out the draw items, say I want, $50 of that. And then if I did any additional work, and then down here, I can put in my totals and then submit that. So this, again, automatically can go and tie into your subcontracts or tie into your purchase orders as well. And then we can throw a little extra code or what we call services against here. So if this were a PO item and you wanted to receive the items, you could do that as well. But if you can tell right away, I have all the routing functionality. I have the vendor portal. All of that's built into Omnidek. We didn't have to write any code, and we can actually build a system or a solution in a work process that's designed the way you want it to be designed, as opposed to having somebody tell you how it should be done. So for that, I'm going to leave it there, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to show you this process.